Hey guys, Bear here with If That's the Case, and we are not doing a case review. Instead, we are going to be doing a case cleaning. So I used this case for probably, I want to say, a good 3 years, maybe 3.5 years. I used this case, and this was my computer system. I used this all the time. Now I have switched over to a Thermaltake Core X5. So I don't think there's a whole lot of video out there of what people do with their cases once they're done using them. So we're going to go over that today. Most times what you're going to do is one or two things, maybe three. One of the things that you'll probably do is sell it. And that's what we're going to look at today, is what we do when we want to sell this. So let's just go ahead and jump straight to it. So this particular case was the Cooler Master Stormtrooper, the original Stormtrooper that Cooler Master had released a while back. And so we are going to need to clean it up. This thing is covered in like dust and cat hair. The insides needed probably a good clean down. So some of the things on this case that we're going to want to go over is, you know, the dust on the outside, maybe you got a side panel window, maybe there's some like stuff on the side panel window. I have no idea what. That's probably sneeze snot, in all honesty. Behind the case as well, there's probably going to be like a PCIe slot or two that you had filled in with your graphics card. So maybe there's one or two of those covers missing. You also got dust filters that you'll probably want to clean out. If the front of your case, if you had like an optical drive or another expansion bay filled, you'll want to work on that as well. And then just the inside cables as well as just the interior itself probably has a good amount of dust inside. So the first thing we're going to want to do is take this outside and try to get as much of the dust out as possible out there. Alright, so this part is actually pretty simple. We're just going to take your single can of air and we're just going to blow out as much of the dust as possible, starting with the outside and then in. Alright, so now with all of the dust filters out and released, what we're going to do is we're just going to do a quick spray down of dust inside the case. Some of your cases might actually have some parts that you can take off. The nice thing about this is that with an old toothbrush that you're not using anymore, make sure you rinse it. I just recommend buying a brand new one, pretty cheap one. It doesn't matter the quality, really. Okay, so we basically went out and removed some of the dust. I have all the dust filters still over here, and I think I did a pretty good job of removing all of the dust that was in these guys just with a can of air. However, the case still has a good chunk of dust on it. So one of the things that we're going to do now is we're just going to take some paper towels, right? And we are just going to, a little bit of glass cleaner is what I'm going to use if you're playing at home. By the way, if you have a acrylic side panel, clean that at your own risk. There's a lot of mix-matched information out there on the internet as to what to clean it with, and personally, my side panel, I'm going to use this combination, but it's not recommended. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so in my particular chassis, if I don't block the light, you guys can see that there's this ring. I actually had a 200mm fan on the bottom, a single 200mm fan on the bottom, and this is some of the dust in which it has collected. So it's just time, you know, with that paper towel and glass cleaner. See, looks tons better already. That was just from that. Let's get the rest of this out of here.
Next level.
For those of you with case fans that are easy to reach, just go ahead, same thing as before. I do recommend putting your thumb in place so that you can just go ahead and get in there. Hard drive cages and the like, you can, if you got the ones that slide out, what's nifty about these is that a lot of the times they just don't have a whole lot of dust on them. If they do have a little bit of dust, it's a quick, easy wipe off sort of situation. Mine really don't have any dust on them. So I'm just going to slide this back in. Okay, so by this time we have given it a general cleaning. We have gone ahead and put the filters back in clean and dust-free. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to try to make this back to as new as possible. So there's some things that we're going to need to do in order to do that. Alright, so one of the first things that we'll want to do is if you had like a graphics card or any sort of other expansion or PCIe card in here, we're going to want to find the covers and put the covers back on. Now I gotta go find the covers. I can't find the exact match, I will admit. Maybe I used it in another system that I went to resell. Anyways, here is a PCIe cover, black, just like the entire case is here, so this should be able to blend in nicely. Honestly, it could blend in better. If you don't have an exact match, but you got one to spare, that's okay, throw it in. It looks better than just not having it, so that's what I did there. And if you have a bunch of I/O cable, grab yourself a twist tie, if you can. You can probably find these in your sandwich Ziploc bags. They usually come with like 3 to 5 of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a cable management point in there, and I'm just going to zip tie all of them down to that cable management point. So I got all the I got all the cables now twist tied up into the case. So one of the things I did is I found the box of the extra hard drive sleds that originally came with the system. I am just going to leave this as is. This did come with the case. It is a Molex to fan connector. Just going to put that in there as well. I'm going to pack this up. I'm going to put it on the top spot where the optical drives go. In the very front, I have a minor problem. So, first problem is this guy. This is actually a pretty nifty thing. Little cubby compartment underneath the underneath all of the hard drives. I actually really liked that. Just slides right down there, and this just covers it. So, one of the other things that you'll want to do, and I highly recommend this, is you're going to want to, if you have your optical drive bay cover, put it back on. Don't do what I did, lose track of it, and I think mine is somewhere, but I can't find it. So this is how it's going to have to be. One optical drive bay, just open. this isn't really good in 2018 when you're trying to sell these cases. Not a lot of people are using optical drives anymore, so having one optical drive bay not covered can sometimes break that sale with a certain person. Alright, so we cleaned it up for the most part. Some of the last things that you can do if you still have this stuff is if you have the owner's manual, especially if it has pictures on it or if it's colored. Pretty good. I don't know why most people don't read these, but it's a good, like, when I sell these cases and they see the owner's manual, they're like, oh my gosh, it has the owner's manual. Yeah. So, people seem to like it. So just shove that in there as well. And then if you also still have it by chance, ta-da! Alright, so that's also something else that you can do if you still have it. And if you still have it, I don't know why I just keep these things. Actually, I keep most of the components inside of the box in which the case came in. For me, it's just an easy way to keep everything in case of a warranty needed, and you need proof by having that owner's manual and the print of receipt when you bought the item. Those are pretty good. Or you know, you just need to go through the user manual and you can't find one online, because sometimes that happens. So, and then if you have the original box, alright, so what we've gone ahead now is we've cleaned it, general cleaning. We tried to make it look as much of the default out of the box as we could with what we still had around. I went kind of an extra step here, and I got the original cover that went over the case when I first got it, as well as the box. And it is, I mean, it's ready to be sold. I do recommend, of course, taking pictures of your case as it is after your general cleaning and trying to make it look as much of out of the box as it can be, and then put it in the box, because this might be easier for you to carry than the PC itself. I don't know. It's all really up to you after you get the general cleaning and getting it looking good again, what pictures you take. I do recommend, you know, your front I/O, your front, your side, and if you have a side panel window, try to show them if it looks good or not in the interior, so that they know what it can do and support. So that is it for me for this video. Tell me your thoughts and comments. Tell me if you've ever had a bad experience with selling a case or any other used component, or if you've had a good experience, and what was it that gave you that good experience? Was it the pictures they took? Was it the description they gave in the ad? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe for more videos kind of like this one in the future, and I'll see you in the next one.